Hello everyone! Today we're going Kutnahora. Now we're in the bus. We are going. This is our way. The leaves falling on the ground looked great. That's why I took it. This is the way of Kutnahora. We went there with a tour and they came in another church. Now we're going to look inside the church. Here you see Jesus. This is our tour guide. There are some repairs, so most places were closed. Here are some pictures. It was one of the ordinary churches, but I don't know if it matters. Also, I don't know the church was important or not. Here you see some handwritings like that. Oh, here is dark and you can see anything but listen that tour guide.
From the 15th century. If you have done all your pictures, let's go back all together and then you will have some minutes to go through and to do pictures once again, okay?
Let's follow the tour guide. Where will she take us? I don't know. You see a sculpture. Now the tour guide said you can look around, so I'm gonna show you around. You can listen to the tour guide when I'm showing you the pictures or the sculptures.
This church is called the Cathedral. The Cathedral, first of all, is the architecture of the church with a corridor behind the main altar. So it is like in St. Vitus Cathedral, but from the point of history, here is a seat of
Here you see the Jesus pictures. Let's listen to the tour guide.
from the end of the 17th, beginning of the 18th century, painted by Michael Willmann and Peter Parler. So here we are in front of a picture painted by Peter Brander. So it is St. Louis God with Jesus Christ. St. Louis God, so it is a nun. You can see her in front of cross with Jesus Christ and Louis God.
Here you can see some sculptures and also some pictures you can see.
About after 5-6 minutes in front of church, and we go all together towards the ossuary, but in the street there are toilets, so we stop for toilets and then we come to the...
I told you there are some repairs, so sorry about the background noise. I think this is very interesting, but I don't know what is this. Let's go outside to look around. I have to speak very quiet, but sorry about it. You can see the church view right over here. Church looks like that. Here you can see around the church. Taking our tickets to go and check outside and also inside the Barbara Church and the next church. Here is inside the Santa Barbara Church. It's one of the most famous Gothic churches in Central Europe and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Construction began in 1388. An old Kutnahora legend tells of the 3 silver miners. One day, there was an accident and the mine collapsed. The miners' lamps went out and they could not find their way back to the surface. Being piteous, they turned to their patrons, the Holy Virgin Barbara. They began praying for her assistance.
So Barbara Church, it is again a cathedral, so this corridor behind the main altar you have seen it in this first church we have visited before. And so it is the oldest part, so there are Gothic vaulting in these chapels, but decoration of chapels is from the 17th and 18th century, so it is all in Baroque style. So that altars are in Baroque style, so very typical for Baroque style. It is this black wood, but it was painted. It is not ebony or some precious wood. It is normal local wood, and it is painted by black. But it is very richly decorated. It's gilded. It is not massive gold, but it is gilded. In the center of this first chapel, there is a statue of Saint Mary. Saint Mary with a baby. It is a wooden statue from the 14th century. Very precious statue. It is maybe the most precious object in the whole church. Former statue was made of wood only, but in the 17th century it was decorated, so this colors and gold and golden crown and globe, so it was added in the 17th century. Windows here are from the end of the 19th, beginning of the 20th century, and there are scenes of history of Kutnaura. For example, in the next chapel.
Now we're just walking and looking around. Later we will go Kutna Church. Now our tour guide is going to tell us something. First of all, I wanted to show you around. There is something like that you see, and also here you see a picture, great picture, and the tour guide is gonna say something.
He was the emperor of Austro-Hungarian Empire. He ruled 68 years, part of his empire, and he visited Kutnaura as well. Maybe you have seen a film about him and his wife Elizabeth, nicknamed Sissy, but you are too young for it. It was in the 50s. So Franz Joseph visited this town, but Sissy didn't. It is not so important, let's go.
Now our tour guide is waiting and we're looking around. It's one of the most famous Gothic churches in Europe and a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
First one, to the left, is a baby on his shoulders, and it is Saint Christophorus. Christophorus, so it means I am carrying Jesus Christ. So this baby is Jesus Christ. It was in old Greece. There were no bridges over streams, over rivers. So such strong, tall men carried the other people over that stream. So it's possible to see feet of Christophorus in the water, and there are some water animals there. So it is the first chapel. The second one, it's a chapel of Michal of Vrchoviště. It was a local nobleman. His family paid for decoration of this chapel. So below windows there are members of his family. To the left, crucifixion. To the right, there are some scenes of Old Testament, Queen of Sheba and the other. And this altar on the wall left, it is very precious pictures from the end of the 15th century. It was painted by an unknown Italian painter. And it is Saint Mary with a baby. And Mary is surrounded by other ladies' saints. So it is just a feminine altar. There is Saint Mary with Saint Therese, Saint Barbara, Saint Agnes, Saint I don't know who, but 6 ladies altogether. And the last chapel, it's a chapel of miners. Miners pay for its decoration. So below the window There are miners at work. They have their working tools, like the crucifixion once again, and to the right it's Christ's arms of the city now. There are two miners in their white coats, working coat, and they are carrying the letter W. W, it is the first letter of the name Vladislav, so it means Vladislav of Jagiello, the first Czech king of Poland, of Jagiello dynasty, and this Vladislav was elected for a Czech king here in a town Kutná, so that is why W is the coat of arms of Kutná. And above us there are other frescoes. It was discovered 55 or 60 years ago when the whole church was under restoration. That frescoes above us were covered by other layer of plaster, and it was discovered. And there are angels playing music instruments of the 15th century. On the other parts, so there was nothing, just on this place, and it was hidden under other layer of plaster. Let's go, please. This miner has a white suit. It was very important for miners to have a white suit on there, as in the mine there was no lighting there, so it was easier for them to see one the other. In his left hand has an oil lamp, right there are working tools, and on his back he has an apron of leather, as miners started their work in the morning by slipping downhill to the bottom of a mine. As at the beginning of the 18th century, that mines were very deep. It was about 500 meters. So in the 18th century it was too deep. So it was better they were slipping in the morning downhill, and in the evening they were climbing a ladder. In spite of they worked every day between Monday and Saturday, every day 12 to 14 hours. And as it was a very difficult labor, they died in the age of 35 years. This chapel is called the Chapel of St. Francis of Assisi. So it was this Francis who was talking with animals. And there is a Baroque hotel from the 17th century. There is a portrait of St. Francis of Assisi. But more precious is this western wall. Again, wall paintings from the 15th century. On the place of today's window, there was other picture, but it was covered by other layer of plaster. And in the 19th century, nobody knew about any decoration, so the window was constructed. And until today, nobody knows what was there. You can see therefore angels, again with some music instruments, and below there are other three persons. They are minting Prag groschen. It was a currency, and silver from here was used for production of that Prag groschen. And in the 1415 until the mid of the 16th century, the Prag groschen were used not only here in the Kingdom of Bohemia, but in the whole Europe. Below there are some scenes of life of Jesus Christ, but it was destroyed by humidity and not yet restored. Now please we go on the other side. Order of Jesuit order in Spain in the 16th century, and that Jesuit order was invited to Bohemia by Habsburg in the 17th century. As Kutna Hora was a Protestant city, so Jesuits came here to Kutna Hora, and next to Barbara Church, to construct their school. So this huge white building you have seen from outside. And this chapel, it was a private chapel of Jesuits. This chapel was connected over a corridor with this Jesuit college. So there are portraits of Ignatius. Ignatius, former, he was a soldier, and he was very fond of songs, women, and wine. He took place in a battle to Pamplona, and he was very seriously injured into his leg. And in the night he had a dream, and in this dream he was told to found this Jesuit order. He did, he survived, and in the 17th century Jesuits came to Kutna Hora. On the other side there is other wall paintings. This one is from the 18th century, and it is the dream of Ignatius. Ignatius is on his bed to the left, and right behind, so it is this battle to Pamplona. Church is still used for services, so not only the organ, but here there are confessional from the 17th century, and these benches are from the 16th century. So it was decorated by a local sculptor and wood carver, Jakub Nembursky. So it is used, so it's possible to sit down there. But around the corner to the left, you will see Gothic benches from the 15th century, so it is rather precious, so that is why it's closed. It's impossible to touch it. And it is decorated by wood carving as well, and each motif is unique. There are 15 different motifs, and that motifs are very similar, like this motif about the upper part of the window.
You see a small store, you can buy things about that church. Here you see a big sculpture right next to me, and I'm gonna show you. This is the big one, and here you see the small sculpture. This is the smallest one. There is a great view. Now I'm gonna show you the view. The view looks pretty good. Well, I'm gonna show you the sculpture and then I'm gonna show you the view. We are just still walking and looking at the sculptures. We are just walking. I don't know where we are going, but let's go. We are still walking. I'm gonna make it speed up.
On the top it is St. Mary. Recently it was restored, so it is in quite good condition now.
So are miners? These are miners?
So now please go back left and we come on the...
Here you can see the church. They're pretty good. Now we went Kutna Hora. You can take only pictures, they said. This is the bone church. Here you see lots of bones. Now here you can see pyramids of skulls. There are thousands of skulls and bones here. Because pneumonia was so prevalent back then, they built a church like this, and here are the bones. After these churches, we got hungry, so we went somewhere to eat something, and now here you see trains are servicing our food. This restaurant's name is Railway. Now our foods came and we are taking our foods. Goodbye, train. If you want more like these videos, please subscribe and like. Bye!